is going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another round of wheel-to-wheel racing. This evening we are at Sardinia Road Track B, here for our first race of the Group 3 half of our season. Quali is already underway, so I'm going to get through this quickly and introduce Queensland Devil Racer here in the comms box tonight. Good evening, mate. How are you?
Yeah, thanks, Captain. Excited to be part of Split 2, race 3 tonight. We've got shaping up to be a Div 3 battle with the races we've got here. We've got 6 of the top 7 races from Division 3 in this race, with Untouchables leading the way, ranked 1 in Division 3. Evil One is at rank 2, but our top seeded racer tonight is Squidly. He's the only Div 1 racer.
Yeah, Squidly's a well-known performer in our league. And also joining us in the comms box and also doing our visuals is Herbs. Good evening, Herbs.
Evening. Hey everyone. Yeah, it's going to be a good race tonight.
Yeah, certainly will. So quickly do a run through the field. We've only got about a minute before the order gets all stuffed up. So jump on for first in Spence. He is, Sunday Casuals, has already been mentioned, so they're already on track for a 1-2. He's in the Jag repping the Milo livery, as is Untouchables, the team owner, in second place, looking fancy right out in front at the moment. Dale is in third place. His pace in that Ferrari is intense. He's certainly going to be one to watch out for. Followed closely by Vintage. He is one of the privateers this season. There's a few of them in the My Pony vehicles, repping the nice bright yellow and pink liveries. Certainly now not one to be missed on track.
Yep, and ZD, of course, Div 2, one of only 3 Div 2 races from Dam Racing. And Hippo this, we've got as a privateer. It's his first year in. Followed by Squidly, of course, who we mentioned, who's highly ranked tonight and would be expected to take it out. And then Ripdoc Ed, who's part of Marchie's pit crew.
And real quick, in ninth is Midrisky for Sunday Casuals, Cloakade in 10th, Euphoric Store in 11th, Das, who's from, I can't remember who that's from, so I'm not going to
Argentina, he's from Argentina.
Thank you. And then Evil One in 13th, just as he crosses the line, yet another Sunday Casuals representative. So first off the bat, we see Vintage out in front with an 18-2. He's obviously got a little bit of slip from Dale on this lap, so let's see if he's going to be able to improve on that lap around. And yeah, Dale is for a quarter of a tenth. Using my fractions to my advantage. I live in my strong suit in high school, so I don't know why they're making a breakout here, but yeah, very, very close behind in second place. Collie is definitely going to be tight here tonight. I would think maybe a second between first and 13th place once everything's all said and done.
Yeah, well, as we go down the field now, we're only 1.3 seconds back to Squidly, who has qualified, he's must have put in a shocker on his first one now. So he'll be looking to improve on that because he's sitting in 12th at the moment. And
yes.
Evil One has yet to set a time. He's about to come across the finish line now, so we'll see where that places him.
Yeah, so Evil One, interesting that he hasn't got the time down yet. Squidly improves marginally there, so he's going to be wanting to improve even more than that. I think Evil One is on a flyer here, looking at his time as he comes across the line. Pretty good. Only 1.5 tenths, puts him up in a fifth.
1:18.4 is impressively quick around here, but to only put you in fifth, and he's 1.5 tenths off the lead, so very close racing we're looking forward to tonight. There's not going to be any give and take between any of these drivers, with only 2 really good overtaking points on the track, and a lot of bad overtaking points. Patience could be the name of the game tonight.
Yeah, patience will certainly be tested. There's, like you say, there's only 2 really good overtaking spots, and even then one of them's a bit dicey, so you've really got to have your cards in the right spot for that overtake to make it stick and not go side by side. Realistically, the more you battle, the harder it is to try and keep up with people in front and just have some clean air. So jumping on for 9th at the moment, Herbs, if we can. Hippo was purple at the end of sector 2, sorry. So he might be on a fly here with the slip of ZD as well. There we go, 18-1. So it clears the field by about a tenth, and considering it was about 2.5 tenths down to ninth before he took fastest lap, that is an extremely tight qualifying session.
Oh, and that is, we've still got a few out there.
Yeah, so Ripdop's the last one to come across the line now.
Yep.
As I picked it, there's 8.5 tenths throughout the entire field from first through 13th. So this goes to, yes, it's a short track, but it just goes to show you how competitive this is. And we've said it many times before, split 2 is realistically top split and a half when you think about it. The amount of drivers that have shown their pace in here is certainly worthy of some higher ranks. So I'm sure we'll see some people moving around our divisions by the end of the season. So Hippo on pole, followed by Vintage, followed by Dale. Vintage and Dale are ex-teammates, so I would expect to see them working together. What do you reckon we'll jump on with Dale, Herbs? He's lightning off onto the line in this Ferrari.
Yep. Board with Dale.
Yeah, look, we're expecting to see a bit of arge and barge on the first lap, and away we go.
Oh, he's got a good
lights
start.
out, as predicted. Dale gets an absolute flyer out of the box. Untouchable's just a little bit wide in the background. Vintage is playing it smart, ducked in behind Dale. We're seeing 4 or 5 wide down the back here. This is going to be interesting as we go through the first turn. Everyone's going through 2 wide, making it relatively clean.
Oh, there's a bit of carnage.
Someone's gone around.
Yeah, Untouchables is now in 13th.
Yeah, he's copped a bit of a love tap there somewhere. So we'll jump back up to where the action is in 7th with Squid. We can see people are still going 2 and 3 wide, just trying to find that position on the opening laps. Squid's got the inside line here. He's going to luck him out as the outside and the exit is actually quite quick around here. We're going to start seeing quite a heavy slipstream train as we go through here as well. So realistically, first couple of laps is good to make up position. ZD going for a dive. Just making it stick. Evil One going a little bit wide in the process.
That's cost Evil One a lot of time there, that short stint off the track. So he's dropped down to 11th, almost at the tail end of that battle pack. Sunday's casuals are not having the best first race.
No, they've copped it a little bit so far. They're sitting in 11th and 12th. 11th, 12th and 13th. So, yeah, definitely not an opening lap to remember for them.
And Evil One in 11th has just got the penalty coming out of that last chicane, so it's going from bad to worse.
That is rough. I did that in my race 1 as well, and it really, really hurts. We're still seeing 2 and 3
in
wide.
6th. Yeah, up in 6th place, ZD has just come through, and they were almost 3 wide through that first turn. There's a big battle pack there with ZD in 5th, Squidly in 6th, Hippo in 7th, Spence, and then Ripdoc Ed. Those guys are battling hard, and they are pummeling each other.
They've definitely got their shoulders out, haven't they? It's a massive train already. And Hippo, he did put it on pole, but he has somehow found himself back in the 7th by a lap and a half in. So the Supra is a very quick vehicle, but it is a very tough car to get off the line. So unfortunately, with the likes of Jags and the Ferrari, he's just been swallowed up in the opening lap. So expect to see some moves from him. I would not discount him just yet.
Yep, and our leading 4, Dale Teeks, has managed to get a 7/10 lead over Vintage Racer, who's still in the slip and should gain some on the straight here. We've got Cloakade in 3rd, who's also in the slip, and those guys are starting to get a bit of a break on Daz Patron now in 4th. So we're seeing a battle pack up the front with the first 3, a bit of a gap to Daz Patron, and then another mighty battle pack.
Yeah, Dale's been lightning out of the gate right here as well. That 7/10 gap has already been pushed up by about 5 tenths to just over 5 tenths now to 1.3 seconds. So Dale's not looking to hang about and trying to get that gap on as soon as he can. Vintage and Cloakade are very tightly battling. Patron is moving quite nicely, actually. That BMW is not known to be a very quick vehicle, so for him to be, tailing on the front pack is actually very, very impressive. So moving slightly further back as well, Hippo is up to 6th place. He's got his eyes firmly set on Squid as they are making their way through one of the tighter sections of the course.
Oh, Hippos, come
And
on.
there goes the commentator's curse.
Maybe I should just be quiet and let Devil take on the rest of this race. What do you think?
That was definitely the commentator's curse there. But Evil One and Midrisky, our Sunday casual teammates, seem to be hopefully working together here now, because they've got themselves in front of Rindock Ed, they'd be a 10th between the three of them at the moment.
Yeah, everyone's real close. You can see that Evil One was pushing Midrisky along a little bit. I was surprised to see him move out and try and make the move. Maybe we should get some clean air under brakes. If they're working together, they can certainly pull away from Rindock and try and recover from what was their lap one. We got Squid is still sitting in 5th with very hungry Spence behind him. Both in the Jag as well, so actually all three of these guys in this pack from 5th through 7th are all in the Jag. It's quite a powerful car in a straight line, so we're not going to see any advantage between those three. They're going to have to make it up in their skills in the corners and under brakes.
Yeah, and coming at the tail of the field, Euthrolic Straw in the Lexus is coming up on Untouchables now. So with Untouchables and Hippo this having a decent battle, that's allowing Euthrolic Straw to catch up to them.
Yeah, certainly is. Sorry, Don, keep going.
You're right. Midrisky, I was just saying, Midrisky in 10th, who was ahead of Hippo this and Untouchables, has just spun out. He's lost a lot of time now.
Unfortunate for Mid there. This is going to be a race 1 to forget now rather than just a lap 1. But yeah, I did see Euthrolic Straw who's now in 12th, looking to make a move for gets the move until 11th. He did come to some unfortunate times. He span on the exit of turn 1, I think lap 2. I'm not too sure what went on there, but I saw it in the background, and yeah, he dropped straight to the back of the field, unfortunately.
And up in the lead, Dale Teagues is just showing all class tonight. He's 2.5 seconds out clear of Vintage Racer now, definitely broken that toe. And Cloakade, who's right behind Vintage Racer, so I would imagine that's got something to do with it. Those two are battling each other. They've been tight the whole race, and that's allowed Dale Teagues to just drive in some clean air, unencumbered, and put down some neat laps.
Yeah, Dale has been an absolute rocket in qualifying, in practice throughout the week. So to see him, 2.5 seconds out in front is no real surprise. But doing battle with another driver, as we see with Vintage and Cloakade, it's certainly going to be aiding in Dale's reign out in front so far. Yeah,
and in the next little battle we have in 6th, Spence and Squidly. Spence being the first of the Sunday casuals, let's call it Armada, that's in the race tonight. So those two are battling hard. There's only 4/10 between those two. And Zedi coming up behind them. So with those two battling, he should hopefully be able to close in ranks as well.
Zedi just dropping a little bit of dirt there, sorry to cut you off. That's hurt himself in that chase to get up to this battle between Spence and Squid.
Seems to be settling down now towards the tail end of the field anyway. But the action at the moment is for second with Cloakade and Vintage Racer. They are going at it hammer and tongs.
Yeah, we did just miss an overtake there. I'm not sure where it happened, but Cloakade has been able to make his way past Vintage and just break out and got a half-second gap. So the power of that vet against the BMW is definitely going to be one setting a challenge, realistically, for Vintage to keep up. So he's got the corner pace, and he just needs to keep in that slip, and then he'll be able to potentially make a pass as the tyre wear kicks in a little bit harder on say lap 10 or 11. But it's going to be a battle for Vintage. Keep it in there, mate.
Well, with those battling, that allows Daz Patron in 4th to just hang on to the tail end of these guys. And look, his tyres are showing that he's going to get good life out of those tyres. So maybe another couple of laps and we could see him right up on that little battle pack of 2.
Yeah, absolutely. His tyres not massively different, but still notably better than vintage and cloquet. So that still comes down to him being in fresh air and cloquet and vintage doing battle. So the more you have to try and defend or hold your position against someone, it's certainly one that will destroy your tyres that little bit more. And Das is showing that off there with his tyre life. Which we see Spence and Squid going right at
and
it.
down in 8th, Ripdoc Ed and Hippo have both taken a stint off into the kitty litter, and that's cost both of them. Euthrolic Straw has got through on both.
Euthrolic Straw keeping it clean after that second lap incident with him spinning on turn 1, so looking to make up positions there. Ripdoc and unfortunately Evil One and Big Risky have all fallen victim to him thus far, so looking to make a bit of a recovery drive there from Euthrolic.
Yeah, and unfortunately...
Go for it, mate.
Hippo making moves on Untouchables here. They are... Oh, he has come in sharp on that left-hander. Doesn't look like it's going to be a penalty. He's okay. But he's 4 tenths behind Untouchables now.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to close in on Untouchables. If he can keep it clean throughout the later half of this lap, he should be in a very good spot to make a move coming on to turn 1. The power of that Jag is quite mighty, but the top speed of the Super is actually, it would be quicker than the Jag. So in that slip, we'd expect to see a move from Hippo and under brakes at turn 1.
Spence is our leading Sunday's casual driver at the moment in 5th place, and he's got Squidly all over the back end of him as well. Squidly, the lone V Corsa driver tonight.
Yeah, so we also missed that one as well. Spence was able to make the move on Squid in the last lap, so Spence certainly not hanging about. Squid is on his tail as well. He's going to have to slip as he moves out. The run up the hill into turn 1, under brakes here. Who's going to win out? Squidly on the outside where there's a lot of grip. Spence with on the brakes. Very good defence there for Spence. He's going to hold the inside around these last couple of corners. And Squid, with the extra corner speed, has already pulled in front. Fantastic battle here between these two.
And in 8th, Hippo, this and Untouchables are still going at it. Untouchables just showed him the nose and tucked it back in. Now, Euthrolic Straw is right up on these guys now, so their little battle has allowed Euthrolic Straw to catch up and make this a 3-car battle pack.
There's certainly plenty of action tonight. I'm not sure where to look. We're missing overtakes left, right and centre. Because while we were watching Squid, Hippo was able to make an overtake on Untouchables down that start-finish straight. It's going to be a tough one for him to hold on to, as the roles have now been reversed as we come into the final sector here. Untouchables getting a fantastic exit there and actually able to make it stick around the outside. I've not seen somebody do an overtake around there in the last week and a half worth of practice. That's a fantastic move.
Yeah, it certainly helped with Hippo this. He got a little bit out of shape on the exit of that one, and Untouchables was very neat through the exit, so he had a lot more speed going up the hill. But Euthrolic Straw now, he is 2 tenths off Hippo this. They're all in each other's draft. With 2 laps to go, this is going to be an exciting pack to watch.
Certainly is. Hippo moves out to the right-hand side, takes the outside again here, trying to get the overtake done. He's going to have a tough time here. No, he's not. He's got the faster corner speed again and sticks it up the inside of Untouchables and makes that part stick. So if he can keep it clean on this later half, he'll certainly be able to keep in front. His tyre life is significantly better.
We have a battle for 3rd here at the moment, with Daz Patron falling back to Vintage Racer, who's got right on his tail, and then another battle for 5th with Squidly and Spence nose to tail battling each other.
A lot of these guys have been inseparable so far this race, and yeah, Duff has been able to make a pass on Vintage there somewhere as well. So too much action, too much to keep a track of, but Duff has moved into 3rd place with noticeably better tyres, however having used more fuel. So as we come into race 3, that will make a bit of a difference come strategy, and we might see Vintage be able to get the better of Patron. Coming back up to the front quickly, Dale is nearly 5 seconds out in front. He has about 4.6, 4.5 now, and his tyre life is fantastic. Plenty of fuel. Dale's just been able to absolutely run away with this in first place.
Yeah, he has a cloakade in the Corvette. In second, has his tyre wear is a bit more than Dale Teague's, but he's getting the most out of that Corvette because he's held the gap with Daz Patron. That hasn't changed the whole race. I think it's been around that 1.2 to 1.4 seconds the whole race.
Yeah, he's certainly been able to keep it clean and consistent, and showing the rest of us how Team Shake and Bake get it on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. Awful. Okay, so coming back into fourth with 6, we have a battle here between Vintage Spence and Squidly. So Spence has been able to dispose of Squid here in the last couple of laps, and they're right on Vintage. I don't think anything's going to change here, so what I might do is jump up back into first as we watch Dale take out race 1 by an absolute stonking 5.5 seconds. Cloquet coming through in second. Patron coming through in third as we see a show stand finish between Vintage Spence and Squidly for fourth, fifth and sixth.
And Zedi coming across the line in style for 7th. We've got Hippo this in 8th, Untouchables for 9th, Euthrolic Straws for 10th, Ripdock Ed in 11, Midrisky and Evil One, the teammates from Sunday Casuals, have brought up the rear. So a day to forget for Sunday Casuals, but a day to remember for Dale Teagues.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations again to Dale for taking out race 1. He led it from the start, just showing that the lightning start off the line from the Ferrari is certainly one to be feared. So nothing that we can take away from him there. Fantastic showing, and congratulations again.
And look, battle packs the whole way down. So in the end, was it about 26 seconds separated the entire field. But when we look through, there were battles the whole way through it. Very few drivers had a clean run. Certainly helped Dale getting out in front. He had clear run the whole way.
And yeah, 14:42 as an overall race time. For those of you who don't know, our points and our leaderboards are tallied up over every single one of our lobbies. So Gran Turismo only allows roughly 13 to 15 drivers in a lobby, and then our times are totaled up from each different lobby. So your points will be scored evenly across. So with the 14:42, that is actually a competitive Div 1 time. So yeah, he had clean air and didn't have to battle for it, but still showing his pace and yeah, top split time right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And our only Div 1 driver in it tonight, Squidly, coming 6th, which is showing the quality of this field in reality, doesn't it?
It really is, yeah. And Das Patron is a new driver to our league as well, so seeing him up in third place as well is also fantastic. So getting a bit of a mix of nationalities here, which is really fantastic to see.
Dale Teagues, so Damn Racing and Zedi in 7th. So Damn Racing have had a decent day out. Shake and Bake, we had Cloquet, he's in 2nd. They've had a good run. So following in from our team, so at the moment Shake and Bake and Damn Racing are tied for first place.
Yeah, after round 1 it's been very, very close. So yeah, looking at the team's leaderboards, it's going to be very, very spicy this season, and certainly want to keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah, look, it's only 186 points back to Sunday's Casuals, who admittedly have had a bit of a shocker this round, so we might see them lose a bit of ground on Shake and Bake and Damn Racing after round 2, depending on how they go in the next couple of races.
Yeah, definitely, and on a similar breath with our leaderboards or our individual drivers' points tally is what makes up our team tally or team totals, and we have 12 rounds throughout the season, and 4 of them are what we call drop rounds, or if you want to call it your lowest rounds, their points do not count. So just because you have one bad race weekend doesn't mean that your overall points have to suffer. And yeah, we may not see too much shuffling at the moment because only one round is counted until we get to the end of round 4. So first 3 rounds, it's realistically anyone's game at this point in time, but it'll still remain quite close.
Well, now might be a good time while we're waiting for the second race to start to mention the sponsors for our league. So we have Pagnian Imports, who you can find them at www.pagnianimports.com.au, and they specialise in anything from starter setups for simulated racing to your $20,000 advanced kits. We also have Next Level Racing, who are at www.nextlevelracing.com, and they'll supply cockpits, stands, motion platforms, and any accessories for customisation. We then have Future Youth, who are at www.futureyouthmelbourne.com, and they're provide anyone with streetwear, which is an Australian-based known company providing clothes, all top quality and free shipping on any orders in Australia. And our last sponsor for the evening is Races, www.races.world, who coincidentally are the only organisation in Australia that provides event and competitor accreditation along with the required insurances for all aspects of motorsport and recreational activities for both tar sealed and dirt tracks on 2 or 4-wheel drives. 2 or 4-wheel vehicles, sorry.
Races are really doing some fantastic work there, and that's headed up by one of our own, being Dodgy 86. He's heavily involved with races and the crew there, and they do some fantastic works for grassroots racing, and it's really good to see that the next gen is still able to get out there, and they've got a means to kick it on track with the rest of them.
Yeah, and so, Captain, what is your prediction for race 2?
Oh, look, reverse grids are tough. Dale is going to have another rocket start. We all know that. So even though he might be starting 13th, I would predict he'll be 9th, maybe 8th by turn 1. But yeah, following on from the rest of that, overtakes here are tough. Given the fact that race 1 was full of battles, if people can keep it on track, we're only going to see more action, I think. So realistically, it's anyone's game. Anyone from first through last, keep it clean and consistent, you're in a really good shot.
Yeah, well, we saw with a second separating all of the drivers in qualifying. You've got Evil One and Midrisky, Ripdock Egg and Euthrolic Straw starting off the first 2 rows. They're going to be hard to catch if they can keep it straight.
They absolutely are. I'm not too sure how the RX Vision gets off at the start line, but I know for a fact that both Jags are absolute rocket ships, and the Lexus, having driven that for 2 prior seasons, is also very good at its start. So I wouldn't expect to see too much change from the very front of the field unless they start to battle each other. So as we can see, final will get away in just a couple of seconds. And on to race 2, more action.
Who are we going to get on to follow the start?
Well, I'll leave that one with you because my game is glitching out and I'm not spectating currently.
I like... How about we get on with Squidly? He's in 8th.
Yep, I'm blue with Squidly.
Yeah, so Squid in the Jag there as well is going to get a great start. We see them all bring their revs up. Lights are out, and away we go. Everyone's getting a fairly clean start. Those Jags, an absolute rocket off the line. Dale's looking to make a move up the inside and take a couple of positions early on. Seeing 3 wide into turn 1 already with Ripdock, Untouchables and Evil One there going side by side. Everyone's trying to make it through relatively cleanly. Yes, it looks like everyone's making it through safe. Midrisky off to an early start, taking out first place thus far.
It seemed like a sea of Sunday casual cars coming into that first corner, but they've all got through neat. There hasn't been a massive amount of change through the field just yet, so everyone just very tempered on the first lap.
I think everyone's learnt from race one that the harder you battle, the more you hurt your tyres and the more you'll hurt your overall race time and also positions towards the end of the race. So if you keep it clean and keep it tidy, you're definitely in a good position to be able to take home some good points. We see a bit of argy-bargy right at the back of the field there with Cloquet hit on Vintage. Unfortunately, Cloquet has come off second best and is now tailing the field at that power of the bet, and is also almost certainly in slipstream. But to see them working their way up through the field as we see Dale as well, moving up in the ninth, right on the tail of Squidgy there, in his slip, hoping to make a pass on the turn one.
Yeah, and right behind him, Vintage Racer and Hippo This are not giving up anything either. So this will be exciting coming in. He's on the outside. Can he get the switch back?
Squidly, fantastic under brakes there with a very good defence. They tuck back in nice and neatly. We see it's a battle for fifth here between Spence, Ripdoc and Untouchables. They were going shoulder to shoulder here through turn one. Everyone's still trying to find position. That's only just introducing Squid here. He's trying to go the long way around. Ooh, we see Untouchables. Sorry, Spence going for a bit of a dive through. I'm getting mixed up with the Sunday Casuals here, but either way, we see Ripdoc and Squid in this massive slipstream train trying to get their moves done.
Yeah, look, they'll be battling hard, these guys, and they are. Their elbows are out, and you look at the Sunday Casuals cars, they are light astern. They are not battling at all, so this is helping them.
Yeah, being all teammates, you would expect to see them just help each other along. If they know one driver is significantly quicker, then they might make an easy pass and then cut him behind and draft down the straight. We can see this massive battle path here. Dale's right in the middle of it. Squid's been able to hold him out for this last one and now has the slip of Ripdoc in front of him. So I don't think we're going to see too much change through here as Evil One comes across 1:08. Fastest lap in lap.
Squidly moving to the outside.
Squid,
and
fantastic.
He's made it stick. Well done.
Oh, class effort there from Squid. Making it around the outside of turn one is no easy feat. He has cleared Ripdoc by half a second there. So the more that he is able to break away now, the more that he's going to have some breathing room on the likes of Dale, Cloquet, Vintage, Hippo, everyone who's trying to make it past Ripdoc. He's getting swallowed up a bit at the moment.
Yeah, well, Dale's made it through, so he's in 8th. And we've got Cloquet. Ripdoc really is struggling in that Mazda. I think it's the corner exits where he's struggling with the most, to be honest. Although, as I say that, Vintage Racer squirts it up the inside on the corner entry.
Oh, Vintage has spent a season in that M6 and they are a fantastically good car under brakes there. So no surprises that he's able to make that move stick. And yeah, Ripdoc really coming off second best out of these opening laps, unfortunately falling back to 12th already.
And back up into the lead. Zini is coming under attack here from Midrisky. He's in the slip down the main street. And he's pulled it out. He's going to try and make a move around the outside.
Side by side there. Ziti given no room. He's been able to hold out on Midrisky and then also introduce Evil One into the mix there. We're seeing 3 teammates very close to each other. I wonder if they're going to fight or if they're just going
4
to...
teammates.
Wow, yeah, 4 teammates in a row. Keeping an absolute smattering up at the top of the grid.
So Ziti's got to be feeling nervous at the moment, doesn't he? Looking back and seeing all this Milo in his mirror.
Oh, that's an awful lot of green to be looking at in your rearview mirror, that's for sure. Although Ziti, he's broken out to 1.8 seconds there, so having a look at, Midrisky and Evil One there, they're keeping each other offline there, which is making it tough for them to keep their pace up. So we see Squid throwing his nose in the mix as well, trying to make a move and work upfield.
Yeah, he's just got by Untouchables with a really good move at the end of that straight, now hunting down Spence. So looking to separate Sunday Casuals a little bit. We also have Euthrolic Straw coming into the mix behind them as well. You would think with the 4 teammates together they would be quicker, but they've compressed the field behind them and they're coming through.
Yeah, it's very tough here. It's just a giant slipstream train at the moment. So if you can really get somebody under brakes, then you can work your way through the field, as Squidly's shown. But the more that they do battle, the more they try and jostle for who is the faster driver, it only introduces more thorns to throw in the mix.
And down in last is Rip Dog, so he is really struggling with that Mazda RX Vision. Daz Patron ahead of him. Those two are having a little battle together at the bottom end, but then we're onto that massive train.
Incredible viewing. They're still going side by side here on lap 5. So we see Squid and Dale trying to make a move, or actually rather defend from Hydraulic Straw there. This is going to let those 3 Sunday casuals ahead break away. Squid getting a bit wild there, dropping dirt on the corner entry. He's done very well to gather that back up and has just let Dale into 5th place.
Yeah, I think he might have had a bit of help from Dale there, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't catch that too much. All we see, Untouchable going just wide on the corner exit there. He may get a penalty for it, which is going to hurt considering how close this battle pack is. No, we seem to have gotten away with it. So Vintage is tucked in behind. You see Cloakade and Vintage going side by side in turn 1. Hippo's trying to make it 3 wide. Thinks the better of it and is just going to stick with hopefully make a move on Cloakade. Gets a bit wide on the exit. This is that position.
That battle is almost from 2nd through to 11th, that battle pack.
Yeah, certainly. Dale and Squid are certainly looking like they're working together now to close in on the Sunday casual pack ahead. Meanwhile, Vintage and Cloakade are inseparable once more, looking to make a move on Untouchables, trying to get that pass out of the way so they can continue their attack.
And ZD up in front is not really pulling away any further from Evil One now. So there's about a 1 second gap between those two, and it's stayed that way for quite a while now. Evil One not letting him get away, but a bit of a gap back to Vidrisky and Spence, who are slipstreaming each other at the moment.
They certainly are. Dale's also in slipstream within those two, so he's going to get an absolute ripper down this front straight with a double slip. So he's just been able to break away from Squiddy as well. So I wonder if Dale is going to be able to make moves against 2 Jags in slip, bumping each other down front straight. Ooh, I should stop talking about specific drivers. Specific Dale just takes some dirt there in a very dangerous part of the track. Being able to gather it up and deal with those dirty types actually very nicely.
Well, he's right under the wing of Spence now, so you would think play the patience game for the second half of this lap, and there's a chance he could get 2 at the first corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Dale is a very calculated driver. He knows when and where to make passes and whether it's just best to stick him behind and wait until the next lap. So he's definitely not one to undercook it, and he'll be making a wise decision. Overtake move when the time is right. We slightly further down the pack as well, we see Vintage, Untouchables, and Cloakade going at it, and then another pack forward with Hippo, Ripdock, Israeli, and Das Patron. So Ripdock has been able to make up a couple of positions on Israeli and Patron sitting all others.
Got Evil One in the lead, 2 tenths now back to ZD. So ZD has come right in would have been under slip on that main straight, and those two will be battling now.
Yeah,
so Evil One will have to be defending.
Yeah, Evil One's just been able to make that overtake on ZD, so it may have been a just happened slap, and they're still very close to it. So ZD, unfortunately, with worse tyres than Evil One, so in the later half of this race, I expect that would be where the difference is, and Evil One's been able to play that long game and come out on top. Oh, we see Dale making a move on Spence there and gets it done. Now it's a battle to be able to keep him behind, and Spencer's in a very tough spot here with 2 very, very good driving in the mix. Squid, having said that, he's again just run wild. We should stop talking about people. And Yeah, Dale looking very racy again. Looking to make a move on mid risky. So 2 Sunday casuals in nearly a lap.
Yeah, then look, he should get him. It's pulled out. He should have him by the end of the straight, but it's going to come down to a braking challenge, and no, mid risky wins that one.
Power of that Jag is almighty, and it's very tough to drive around. So meanwhile, Dale had that run. As soon as he pulled out into that clean air, he's just been slowed right down by the wind force, not being able to get that pass and make it stick.
There was a battle continuing on back in 8th with Untouchables, Cloakade, and Vintage Racer, all battling for 7th. Those 3 are going hard at it, and then just off the back of them is Hippo, this, and Ripdock Ed, who have got elbows out belting each other. So a lot of little battle packs throughout this race as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Something has also happened to Euthronic back in 13th. Yeah. He had a lap there which was a minute 36, considering the rest of his laps were in the 21s or 20s. So unfortunately, he's come to guts somewhere and is right at the back of the field. So he'll be well set up for race 3 to start on front of the grid. Jumping back up front, Evil has disposed of Zedi in quite a large fashion. Is now about 2.5 seconds out in front. Zedi coming under fire as we go into turn 1 here. He's going to be able to hold the inside and get that quicker exit speed. We see Dale showing his nose here as well. So Dale is playing a long game and might be able to make up 2 spots in 1 here.
Yeah, the damn...
Go for a dive. Sorry, Deborah, go.
I was just saying, the damn racing guys have really forced through on Sunday casuals here. They've split up that green. And there's lots of, what would you call that, brown, red? I don't know.
Yeah,
there's lots of damn racing.
There's a lot of damn good racing right here. Yeah. Dale is not looking to hang around either. He's going to get a pass under Zedi here in brakes. Gives him plenty of room. No! He's gotten onto gas just too eager and has undone all of his work there. One very small mistake ends up costing you 4 positions. It just goes to highlight again how close these drivers really are and how close the whole league is in the world.
Well, this whole field, Euthrolic Straw and Ripdock Ed, who have both had issues aside, there's only 10 seconds at the moment separating 1st to 11th.
Yeah, again, after 10 laps, it's really only 1 second a lap, and I think Adrian's had an issue there as well. Some of his laps have been a little bit slower than what the rest of them should be, but yeah, again, just showing how good the driver standards are here. Actually, jumping on with 8th, if we can, Herbs, we just see Hippo land himself in the wall. Untouchables running just wide. Cloakade and Vintage are looking to make moves on him as well. Vintage should have this gap down pat for the last lap. I don't see that changing just yet. Untouchables and Cloakade going side by side still. So that's still anyone 8th position.
And Zedi and Dale Teeks, the 2 teammates, battling for 4th and 5th at the moment. Are they going to be team orders? Are they going to say no overtaking on the last lap? Let's let it go, or let it race.
Yeah, look, generally it's a let it race sort of scenario here within most teams at wheel to wheel. I don't think team orders come into it too much. Generally, people are pretty good if they realise that next person was going to be quicker. But we'll jump up the front for the race win with Evil 177 by about 4 seconds. You see a very, very close battle pack here between Midrisky in 2nd, Squid, Dale, Zedi in 3rd, 4th and 5th, Spent in 6th, Vintage in 7th, Cloakade in 8th, Untouchables in 9th, Patron in 10th, Hippo just coming across the line now in 11th, and Euthrolic Straw and Ripdock coming together once more. They've had some issues for 12th and 13th.
Yeah, so with the exception of a couple of drivers that did have some issues, that was some very intense racing.
Oh, man, mistakes galore. There was some very, very fantastic braking manoeuvres, side-by-side racing. This is what it's all about. I thought we had our Group 4 86s as the close racing, but even among multiple manufacturers, it just goes to show that everyone can hang with the big guys.
And so race 3 coming up, there'll be a bit more strategy involved with race 3. Drivers having to use the soft and the mediums, and of course a reverse grid again. So that will see Rip Doc Ed starting on pole position. What's your give us a prediction for race 3, Captain?
Oof. Dale is going to be hard to go past. Even with his mistake, he was able to make it back up to 4th after starting in 13th. So, yeah, Dale, I would suspect him to start on mediums. It's definitely going to be one to watch out for, and is probably going to be my pick. Squidley has certainly found his pace as well, coming in 3rd. So, just really comes down to a bit of a fuel game. I know that Ferrari can be a little bit thirsty, but it's also very quick in the hands of Dale. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We need to pay attention to the pit stops and how much tyres and fuel people are using. But, yeah, it will be very interesting.
How thirsty is that Jag, Captain? There's quite a few Jags in this race.
Oof, there is an absolute smattering of Jags, even through top split. Jags are absolutely everywhere. It's kind of scary when you're trying to drive around them and you're not in one. But they're quite powerful, so you can short shift them. Being a supercharged V8, they have a lot of torque. So, yeah, I would expect to see some decent fuel saving going on. But if they rev it out and they're trying to race and battle hard, then yeah, that Jag is certainly going to be hard on its fuel and probably the worst out of the pack.
Yeah, you'd probably expect one of the BMWs to be, as far as fuel efficiency goes, certainly be one of the better choices, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the hands of Vintage as well. They were team champs in the BMW in the M6 through Season 6.
Yep.
And, yeah, we had a very similar race format here, so he's going to be well-versed in the strategy and how to make up positions and win positions in the pit. So, yeah, Vintage is certainly going to be one to look out for as well. Like you say, that BMW is fantastic on its tyres and on its fuel. So now that it's not just a matter of going all out, we'll introduce some strategy for race 3.
Well, I know in the Div 3 race that I did earlier, I fuel saved in the car that I have, which is good on fuel anyway. But I made up 4 seconds on the person in front of me, just in the pits, through not having to take on as much fuel. So 4 seconds over this field is significant margin.
Yeah, fully agree. 4 seconds here, like you say, could be the difference between 1st and 8th. We saw that at the end of 11 laps, they were only split 10 seconds between the top 11. So,
yep,
going to be tough. And also, we will see a mix of medium and soft runners at the start here. So, typically people that will start at the front, so that finish towards the tail end of race 2, will start on the softs, and then people who will start at the back of the grid will start on mediums. So they won't want to burn up the advantage of the soft tyres too early on, and then they look like they'll pit and go on the softs for a hard finish.
Ideally, you want to use your softs when you're not battling, when you're free to put down very consistent laps. To get track position here is very important as well. So if you are up the front, then you really have to go to softs here, otherwise you're going to get swallowed up.
Yeah, I think so. You want to try and gap the field as best as you can, and like I say, keep that clean air and get consistent and punch out some very good lap times, and you should be in a decent spot. But if people are in a slipstream train, they realise that it's better to play the long game and just sit in there and slipstream, or short shift and save fuel. But the hassle is that you're not the only one with the same sort of ideas. So when you're stuck in a train of 6 or 7 people with like-minded strategies, you end up trying to aim yourself at clean air, and 4 or 5 other people will pit in with you and you come out together at the same time. So, it's anyone's guess. You try one thing and you're nearly guaranteed to have at least 2 or 3 others that'll do exactly the same and throw a spanner in your works.
Yeah, well, and given how close all of these races are, it could really just come down to who can stay on those soft tyres the longest tonight in the 18 lapper.
Yeah, definitely.
3 lap race.
And You can certainly save fuel to do 14, 15 laps on a stint. So maybe you do go long on softs, try and manage them rather than going hard out for that fastest lap. You manage your softs for 15 laps, and then you come in and you can go hard on your mediums, and your delta difference between your quickest lap on softs and your quickest lap on mediums is not that much. You work out your overall race time. It can be very effective, but it's tough, especially around a short track. It's very hard to keep consistent and make a difference and make it stick in the pits.
Yeah, well, there's only about a 1 to 1.5 second difference in softs to mediums here. There isn't a massive amount of difference, but 1.5 seconds a lap for this field is significant considering how close they are. So if you can hold off just for an extra 2 laps on your softs and fuel save, you could be looking at a 3-second gap on the tyres plus a few seconds in the pits. That's your winning strategy there. You don't have to be the fastest on the track.
Yeah, totally agree, and that's the beauty of this, is that we are in a strategy for race 3. So just because race 1 and 2 is about going all out and being the quickest on the track, this is where your time management comes into it and really makes a big difference, like we've been talking about. So race 3 will be getting underway any minute now, so you can see the countdown in the bottom left-hand corner. Dale's giving everyone a quick heads up, making sure that we're all on the right tyres for what they want to start on. It looks like the majority of the field are on mediums. We see Untouchables, Cloakade are the only 2 on racing softs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so see a lot of people again having that very similar mind frame. Want to get those mediums out of the way and dispose of them quickly while you're trying to battle with other people. But again, we could see a lot of people coming into the pits all at the one time and
Untouchables finished 9th, Cloakade finished 8th in the last race, so those guys are going to be in the middle of the pack, and they're going to be running between 1 and 2 seconds a lap quicker than everyone around them for the first stint.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Jag has also been something of a rocket ship off the line, but that really only applies when you're on the soft tyres. So it is a bit of a gamble for those in the Jag going on the mediums, as you do lose that fantastic start. So I'm going to jump on with Das, I reckon. Das Patron in 4th for the race start.
Yeah, I'm with Das.
I'm going to let you call this one, Devil.
Right.
I can't get in.
Well, fairly even start. As we come down into our first corner, we've got Untouchables leading down in. They're 4 and 5 wide again. First 3 wide going through the corner. Hippo This has come out the front of a little battle pack already forming, with Cloakade right behind him on those softs. So he'll be wanting to get past Hippo really quickly. And the other driver being, who was the other driver on softs?
We see Dale on softs actually as well, so I think there's 3 drivers. Untouchables is on softs out in
Dale through to 7th. So on softs, he'll be looking to come through that field really quickly.
That's actually a bit of a bold move by Dale. I would have anticipated him to go onto the mediums for his first stint, but having said that, he's already made up several places here and is looking very racy here in the open laps.
He may not have as big a time loss on the mediums as he does on the softs, so if the time loss on the mediums isn't as significant, then maybe his thought process is, let's go out and abuse the softs, get some track position, and see if we can maintain it.
Yeah, look, if his race 1 is anything to go by, his tyre management is absolutely spot on. So you could be on for picking his strategy there, and you've got him all figured out. So see, Das in 8th, he's getting a little bit wild there and has been swallowed up by Vintage, and with those dirty tyres, Squid is also making the move on the inside and gets it done in the next turn 4.
got at the rear of the field, Sunday's Casuals, Bidrisky in the rear, Spence in front of him, and then Evil One in front of him. Those guys all on the mediums. Hopefully they'd be looking to work together, save each other some fuel, save each other some tyres, and work through, take the long game on this and win through on strategy, with as Daz Patron gets a bit sideways again and allows Evil One through.
Yeah, Patron taking a little bit of the sand there and then getting himself a bit wild, so his opening lap has not been fantastic, or a couple of laps. He is on those mediums, so I wonder how much he's practiced on them. He may be struggling with the tyre difference. They do take a little bit to warm up, normally two or three laps, so he could be one to... okay, we see Patron going with a bold strategy, coming in on lap 2. So I would expect a double stint here, because I don't see him doing 21 laps here on softs. So he's coming in early, doesn't want a bar of these tyres, as we can see on track already.
Yeah, he would have to be pitting twice. He won't have the fuel to go laps as well.
Jumping up to 5th if we can, Herbs. Dale is making moves as still. He's putting a lot of pressure on the Ripdoc and is hoping to make a move and continue his charge. But yeah, he's only 3 seconds behind Untouchables, who is also on softs. Dale going for that track position early. We see him under brakes against Ripdoc on the softs, gets the inside, just gives enough room for Ripdoc on the outside. Gives his...
Hippo's coming in to have a bit of a talk about this as well.
Yeah, if Dale's getting in on it, Hippo's like, yeah, I'll have a slice of that too, thank you very much.
Cloquet, another driver on softs, up in 3rd. He's the next target for Dale. But at the moment, he's trying to chase down Euthrolic Straw, who's only 2/10 up ahead of him. And then that'll release him to chase down Untouchables, who's our leader on softs, with a lead of just over a second at this point.
As we see, Euthrolic has been gobbled up by Cloquet. The difference there in the braking between softs and mediums, Euthrolic had to get on the pegs just that little bit earlier, and allows Cloquet to make a move down the inside. And like you say, he's got his eyes firmly set on Untouchables and is surely going to want to try and chase him down.
You would expect for Untouchables on softs and into our 4th lap would have a bigger lead by now. Either that, or like we said before, maybe those Jags are not going to suffer as much under mediums. The speed difference between the two is not great.
Yeah, there's still quite a good chance that Untouchables is just trying to manage his tyres out a little bit more and not go for that complete outright pace. It's interesting if he's going to respond to the pace of Cloquet coming up behind him here. The gap is about 1.1 seconds if you come on the straight. So keep an eye on that over the next couple of laps, and it should tell us if Untouchables is like, okay, you're getting a bit close to my comfort here, I'm going to put the hammer down and just manage that gap and keep it safe.
Yeah, well, Cloquet's done a 19.5 on the last lap, and Untouchables has done a 19.6. So it looks as though Untouchables could be just managing the gap at this point and trying to get the maximum life out of these soft tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. Also looking at gaps as well, Dale is just outside of the slipstream range to Euthrolic Straw, so I would suspect with the tyre difference between Dale and Euthrolic that he will be in that slip. Actually, he already is. So Dale is going to be hot on for a move down into turn 1 on lap 6.
It'll be interesting to see the outright pace down the straight pace difference between... Oh, no, we won't see it. Euthrolix has gone a bit off on that corner of that. They exited that corner, and he's given Dale Teagues the 3rd position.
He's just made it too easy for him.
So our 3 soft runners have made it to the head of the field.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that it's happened that quickly. Dale's certainly been able to show his pace and make up positions. He's already making up fantastic moves up in the 3rd, so he's going to have his eyes firmly planted forward now that Euthrolic is no longer a threat, being in his slipstream.
Yeah, back in 4th.
Yeah.
Hippo this is making a move around the outside of Youth Rolling Straw, and he's made it stick, yes. Quite a few moves around the outside of that corner tonight, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, turn one tends to have quite a high level of grip on the outside there, but it's very tough because you do have to carry that extra corner speed. You've also got to be very wary of the inside driver just running wide, which is a normal line, and squeezing you out, giving you no room. So yeah, it's a bold move, but Hippo, as we hopefully saw, was able to showcase that perfectly.
In seventh, our next battle pack is ZD, Vintage Racer, and Evil One. Those guys are all giving each other a bit of a hard time at the moment, and we're trying to go 3 wide.
Oh, Evil One under brakes takes 2 in 1. ZD and Vintage caught napping there. Fantastic move for Evil One.
That was incredible. That's the highlight for Sunday's Casuals weekend so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good move there. And yeah, ZD is coming under fire from Vintage with very even amount of tyre wear and very even amount of fuel usage as well. So ZD maybe playing the long game, thinking better of using that long light fuel, and we might see him jump Evil One in the pits. And having said that, they're going to go side by side into turn 1. Ooh, under brakes here. Evil One looking like he's just going to be able to hold out on ZD there. ZD taking just a little bit of dirt, which is going to hurt him on this sweeping left-hander, and just open the door for Vintage. Vintage is thinking better of it, and he's tucked back in behind.
So Untouchables now with a half a second lead over Clockade up the front. Those two have got a bit of a gap back to Dale Teeks, who's only 1.3 seconds, but certainly our leading 3 have now gapped the rest of the pack. They're 4 seconds back to Hippo, who's battling with Youth Rolling Straw for 4th place, and Squidly coming in on that argument. He'll be looking to make a pass on Youth Rolling Straw in the next lap or 2, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Squid showing his pace once more. He started towards the back of this field after finishing in 3rd place last race. Squid, with the power of that Jag down this straight, is certainly going to be looking for a move in turn 1. So we might hang on with Squid in 6th, as he's well in the slipstream here, closing in. The speed difference between these two is massive. So we see him move out for the inside line, under brakes here. Squid, fantastic under brakes again into turn 1. Eupholic is going to try and hold it around the outside, but as we see a lot of grip out there, but Squid is just going to have the inside here, less distance to travel, and makes that move stick.
Textbook racing manoeuvre there, Squidly. Well done.
He's a very calculated driver. He knows what moves he can make and when, and he lifts his stamp and makes sure it sticks. Jumping back into 3rd, if we can, Dale has been able to about half that gap to Clockade there. So, surprisingly, Clockade has closed the gap on Untouchables, but has not been able to make a move stick just yet. And Dale's thinking about getting right in on this mix as well.
And I'm just looking at Dale's tyres, mate. They are, if I compare them to Hippo this, who's in 4th and on mediums, there's not a significant difference between them, and there's a noticeable difference, but it's not huge.
No,
so Dale is managing his tyres extremely well in this 3rd race. So perhaps it turned out to be might have been a bold decision to go out on softs, but it could pay off well for him here. Yeah,
look, it certainly will. And like you say, the difference between the tyres is very negligible. And given the fact that the Supra is reasonable on its tyres, and Hippo is on mediums as well, considering they wear a lot less than the softs do. Dale, fantastic, and all while making moves as well.
Yeah, and look, they're clearly quicker because their front 3 on softs have put a gap on the rest of the field. So we've got to wonder now, when are these medium guys going to pit? How many laps are they going to want to do on their softs? How much longer are they going to stay on them, on the mediums?
Yeah, a lot of people come in. Well, I mean, a lot of people within top split came in around lap 10 to 12. I don't think we see one person come in on lap 13, I think it was. But the lap 13 all was said and done, and everyone had done their pit stop. So very close to splitting it down the middle, as the fuel is generally more of an issue trying to make a longer stint happen because you have to fuel save, and then it does affect your lap times a little bit. So a couple of different thoughts, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see when these top 3 runners come in. Dale might want to try and get the undercut in coming at the end of lap 11, or being in 3rd place, he's got the advantage here. Maybe with those better tyres, he's going to stick it out longer and do the opposite of what Cloquet and Untouchables are.
Yeah, and of course he doesn't know that his tyres are great, so you've got to ask the question, are lap 11 softs quicker than lap 1 mediums?
It's tough, but I mean, for myself, I was doing low 20-second laps on mediums, and looking at Dale, he's not dropped outside of the mid-19s, so I would certainly think that he is in a position to go long on the softs here, as his tyre wear is fantastic.
These guys they're continuing to put about a second a lap on the rest of the field now, and if we watch them, they're not battling each other. There's enough gap, there's about half a second gap between each of them, and they're all just going out and putting down really fast laps without battling. They're not chewing up their tyres, so that's helping them. And it's certainly helping Dale Teeks and Cloquet with fuel efficiency. Oh, and Untouchables has had a bit of a moment coming onto the main straight. He's dropped from 1st back to 3rd.
Yeah, unfortunately, Untouchables missed what happened there, but yeah, he's come victim to both Cloquet and Dale Teeks, so he might have had a penalty as he came on.
There was no penalty. He just got a wheel in the dirt and got out of shape.
That's what caused it. It's very easy to do. Lap 11, the tyres are going to be wearing basically what they had on race 1 and 2, so maybe trying to eke them out just a little bit too long. I would expect to see Untouchables and Cloquet in the end of this lap, Dale to continue on.
Yep. Hippo this in 4th has managed to put a gap on Squidly, and who's battling with Euthrolic Straw and Evil One about to right on the tail of their little battle as well.
It's also interesting to compare the fuel usage between Squid and Euthrolic. Euthrolic was probably an extra 20% worth of fuel. And Squidly, really looking to just keep on that pace rather than so potentially Euthrolic might be able to jump in bits, and Squid will be looking to make a pass right now.
Untouchables, if we look up and compare fuel with our front 3, Untouchables has the most fuel, followed by Dale Teeks and Cloquet. So at the moment, Untouchables is going to spend the least amount of time in the pits out of our front 3.
Yeah, he certainly is. Anything you can save here is going to be quite handy. I think a lap worth of fuel is generally 1.5 to 2 seconds, depending on the track. And yeah, so he might have that 1.5 seconds there. He might want to save that touch more fuel now that he's in the slipstream. And
all three of our leaders are in the 121s now. We're on lap 12. You would expect to see them pit at the end of this lap, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would think so. It looks like Dale's getting caught up with these guys battling a little bit, which is hurting his individual lap time. So I wonder if Dale's now switched strategies and is going to save that little bit more fuel and try and jump into the pits. Still quite interesting, lap 12, and we haven't seen anyone come into the pits other than Patron on lap 2.
Coming through the final chicane, Cloquet is in. He's pulled the trigger.
Cloquet is in while we see Dale and Untouchables will stay out. Untouchables going for a move into turn 1. It was going to be a big ask as Dale is fantastic under brakes, as we can see here. He's going to try and hold the inside line, keep the inside as we go into turns 2 and 3. Dale with a quicker pace on the inside line there, less distance to travel, is able to hold out for first place.
Well, everyone else has gone into the pits, has gone around so far. I know Euthrolic Straw stayed out, but he's the only other driver that has stayed out at this point.
Yeah, an absolute smattering of pit stops there. Hippo, ZD, Ribdoc, Untouchables, a whole lot of people with Squidly coming in. They're all going to be moving on to the soft tyre now. We see Midrisky coming through as a whole host of people are coming out of the pits. He's going to come right out into the gate. So he was hoping for a bit cleaner air, but he has still been able to dispose of two of the quicker drivers in Squiddly and Vintage going side by side.
And up the front, Dale Teagues has come through to the lead. As we come around to finish another lap, surely Dale and Untouchables will be pinning this lap. It looks as though they both are. Yes?
Yep, picked it down on that one. Untouchables with slightly better fuel than Dale. Interesting to see there, actually.
And Euthrolic Straw is continuing on. So getting a lot of laps out of his mediums and out of his fuel.
Yeah,
there's Cloquet.
The Lexus, having driven it for 2 prior seasons, is fantastic on its fuel when you're going a long distance. So looking to keep consistent there. His lap times have been very consistent, all within a couple of tenths of each other the whole race here. So hoping that he will be able to pull off a good result.
So coming through, Cloquet, who pitted a lap earlier, has come out ahead of Dale Teagues. Dale Teagues has come out behind Cloquet. And Untouchables has come out in front of Cloquet. So he's split the two. And those three will be battling it out again now on their mediums. And they'll have Spence, who's 6.5 seconds behind them. He's on soft, so he's got 9 laps to bring him down.
Yeah, very interesting to see with the pit stops there. Untouchables with the better fuel save has been able to come out about 1.3 in front of Dale. It was actually about 2 seconds in front of Dale as the pit stops are now all said and done. Actually, sorry for the top runners, but Euthrolic is still yet to come in.
So we have in 5th place is our first now soft runner in Hippo This. He's 6.5, nearly 7 seconds off Dale Teagues, and Spence, who's also on softs, and those guys are battling each other. But what they need to do is put their heads down and make up the 7 seconds first.
Yeah, it's always one of those hard situations you find yourself in. You really want to be able to go for that position or try and battle. Having said that, it does look like Spence is giving Hippo a nudge down the straight there and is still tracking behind him. So, as you say, they must have a secret comms link to him because they've done exactly that and are working together to try and bring that gap to Dale Teagues down and potentially keep Riddock off of their tails.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they don't, as much as they want to catch up to the person in front, if Ripdog gets on their tail and starts battling, that's going to ruin all of their plans, apparently.
Yeah, it certainly will. Jumping back to 9th, if we can, Herbs, we see Euthrolic there, after his pit stop, has been able to come out in front of Squiddly, Eagle One, Vintage, and Patron. Vintage is the tail end of that group. So, yeah, he's got track position. They're all on softs now, and he is going to be in a very good spot with fresher tyres now as well.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the race, he will be if he can keep his car straight and ahead of these guys, they're not going to have a lot to battle with him towards the end of the race.
No, definitely not. He's come out with a fantastic strategy and has been able to give himself that little bit of clean air and has now got Midrisky in the sights and is just in the slipstream, which is only going to help him pull away from the battle between everyone, Vintage and Squid.
So up the front, Cloquet and Untouchables are all over each other at the moment, which is helping Dale Teagues. So if these guys are going to battle, he's going to let them. I would think he's just sitting there watching at the moment. Or a bit of a nudge from Untouchables.
Dale playing smart here, I think. If Untouchables and Cloquet want to go into battle, he could potentially take 2-1. We've seen him do it just earlier in this race as well. So it's only going to hurt them trying to battle. If they want to hold off Dale, then they certainly need to work together and just keep that slipstream trying straight.
Well, that's what got them the lead. That's what got them into a comfortable position, was not battling. They were out in the front in clear air, and they just drove around and put neat laps down. Now that we've changed onto medium tyres, you would think that same strategy is going to is going to be the one to work for them. It's be interesting to follow and see if that's what they actually do, or if they decide, no, the red mist is too much, I'm going to take it.
Oh, my bet's on red mist. Red mist. People just see the fact that there's another driver on track and they go, that's my position, I need it.
Yep.
And it's just everything else gets thrown out the window. Yeah, that battle for first is certainly heading up. Dale will dive. He's going to go for the inside move here. Going to go side by side with Untouchables. He's just gotten a faster run into this sweeping left-hander, so Dale maybe just thinking slightly better of his dive to hold back off. Untouchables wide. He's going to pick up dirty tyres for that move.
And Dale will get him here.
He's opened a door right up for him. Untouchable's going to be hard under brakes here as well because of his dirty tyres. So he's actually done very well to manage that and keep right on the back of Dale here, but certainly made that easy for him. Dale's not going to hang around, and I expect that gap to open up and get the hunt down Cloquet for first.
Well, as a result of that battling, we go back. Oh, Hippo, this had the gap. Hippo, this in fourth, had the gap to Untouchables under 5 seconds, but he's just made a bit of a mistake, and it's touched out to just over 5. But he is catching them at the moment, so they can't afford to be battling too much up the front, or these guys are just going to run them down with a couple of laps to spare. And with them on softs, they're not going to have anything to. The guys on mediums up the front are not going to have anything to battle them with.
Yeah, absolutely. If they catch up and they're in slip, it's just going to be a game over as you come into turn 1. So the difference between softs and mediums is quite noticeable under brakes, especially from the highest speed corner or highest speed into one of the slowest corners. Yeah, the softs are definitely going to win out every time.
Yep, so we're down to 4.5 seconds now. So Hippo, this has taken about a second out of their lead on the first half of this lap.
Yeah, first half of the lap to take a second out of it. That is huge. Hippo could make this a 4-way battle for first here, I think.
Well, he's bringing Spence, and he's bringing Ripdog, and he's bringing Seedy, and he's bringing Euthrolix, and he's bringing Vintage, and they're all coming to the party.
Yep. Everyone on these softs is certainly looking to make up time that they lost out against the first set of soft runners in Cloquet and Untouchables. So again, a massive line, like you've just pointed out, from fourth all the way down to, well, I would say 8th. The gap is just opened up from Euthrolic and Vintage to about 1.8 seconds. Everyone else in front is looking very racy and very close to slipstream from each. We jump into 5th, we see Spence and Hippo going side by side. Actually interesting to see. I would have expected those two to know that they've got an opportunity to hunt down the leaders here and not try and compromise their pace.
Well, Spence was doing that a couple of laps earlier. He was nudge drafting Hippo and giving him a bit of a hand. Maybe he's decided he's given him enough help. It's his turn now.
Yeah, they're not teammates, but I would suspect that they are aware of their surroundings and know what's good for them. But again, I think the red mist is going to be too good, and people will end up wanting to battle with the driver that's directly in front of them.
The gap to Untouchables is now noticeable. We're at under 4 seconds now.
Yeah, I think that should be lower if Spence and Hippo weren't trying to go side by side. So Spence potentially not aware that the gap to first place is actually a lot closer than he suspects.
Well, 4 laps to go and 4 seconds to catch Untouchables. Can they do it?
4 laps, 4 seconds. If they keep their head down, I think it's certainly doable.
Up the front of the field now, we've got Cloquet and Dale Teagues. They are right on each other's bumper. They are battling. And it looks as though Dale's, he's making a move now. So he'll be drafting Cloquet down the hill and into the next tight right-hander. This is where he'll be wanting to make a move.
The battle for first here, Dale's been able to show that he can make braking manoeuvres into this turn here, as we see him do it. Class again. Has that move down pat and been able to take a race lead from Cloquet on lap 20.
Now, you would think if he can get out of the draft now, if he can break the draft to Cloquet, all he'd have to do then is keep it on the black stuff, because Cloquet and Untouchables are not going to make it easy for this next pack of soft runners to get past them. So he'll have two drivers acting as rear gunner for him, and all he needs to do is keep it on the black stuff, provided he can get Cloquet out of his draft.
Yeah, absolutely. If Dale's mid-corner or mid-lap speed is anything to go by, it should just be outside a slip from Cloquet by the end of this lap. But having said that, Cloquet is still very quick driver, so anything can happen here in the dying stages of race 3. Actually, on that topic of anything happening, Spencer's been able to get past Hippo. They're looking to battle each other as that gap to Untouchables has worked its way back up to 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, so that's not ideal for those guys. Perhaps if Spence can put his head down now, he might be able to run it in, but time is running out. There's 2.5 laps left and 4.5 seconds. He would be looking to consolidate fourth at this point, maybe put a scare on Untouchables.
Yeah, absolutely. That gap nearly out to 5 seconds now as Hippo and Spence going side by side. So certainly, I think Untouchables, Cloquet and Dale have got the first 3 wrapped up. It's just a matter of which order they want to cross the line. And Spence and Hippo are going to continue going battle until the end of the race. Slightly further back in 8th, we see ZD and Neutralic Straw going hard at it as well. Neutralic Straw with the better tyres. He may be able to try and make a move coming into turn 1 here, but ZD is going to cop a slip from Ripdoc. Ooh, that's tight. Ripdoc has been able to hold off ZD. Neutralic Straw thinking the better of getting his nose in all of that mix, and is just going to wait until something happens in front of him and say thank you very much, I'll take those 2 spots.
Yep, and look, Ripdoc is defending hard here. He was swerving down the main straight. He's taking the inside, as we see here. He's 3 or 4 car lengths inside the ideal racing line. He is defending hard against these drivers behind him at the moment. So he's slowing this whole pack down, and it's compressing. What have we got there? A pack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers.
All on lap 22, we see Vintage trying to make a move here on ZD as well. Oh, they both go a little bit wide there. Unfortunately for ZD, he's come off second best there. I think Vintage may be aware of the situation here as potentially slowing down to redress that one. As we see, Squid has been able to make up positions as well. Vintage wide again there, Squid's keeping the pressure on him as they make their way onto the straight there for 9th position. So final lap.
So Hippo this in 4th. Hippo this in 4th has come through on Spence. He's got that position back down the straight.
So those guys continuing to battle, even while reducing that gap to Untouchables down to about 2.6 seconds. So he may have, Untouchables, that is, may have hurt his tyres just a little bit too much and has brought these guys back into it even while battling. So really just goes to show that if Hippo and Spence kept their heads down, they certainly could have been on for a podium battle rather than running the course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that battle has cost them a lot of time. They've been battling for quite a few laps.
Definitely. Dale out with about a 2.5 second lead as well in first place there. The rest of the field is relatively clean and following nose to tail. So Dale coming through the final chicane here. He's going to take out race 1 and race 3, so he's certainly going to get a fantastic points haul tonight. Great drive again on those medians to overtake Cloquet for the win. Cloquet in second, Untouchables rounding out the podium in third.
And Hippo this and Spence bringing it home for 4th and 5th in a battle right to the line. We then had Ripdog and Evil One, Neutralic Straws, Squidly, Vintage Racer and Mid Risky were all close together and battled through that race. Zedi bringing it home in 12th and Daz Patron in 13th.
Both of them showing off, giving the flick spin across the finish line there. I actually forgot to check on Das Patron to see if he did go the distance or if he did certainly come back in again, but he was actually quite close to the tail end of the field. So interesting strategy. I'm going to have to look that one after. I'll look that one up after, as curiosity is going to get the better of me. Again, Dale, congratulations on taking out race 3. Another fantastic total time. And Clocaden Untouchables rounding out the podium. Hippo with a fantastic drive and defence against Spence for 4th place. And then Ripdoc as well, certainly defending in those dying laps to keep that absolute onslaught of a battle pack behind him with Evil One, Eutholic, Squidly, Vintage, Midrisky, Zedi. Yeah, action-packed.
Yeah, it was, and there were battle packs all the way through from the from the first place right through to 13th. No one was really left alone to their own devices. They had pressure on them from first lap through to the 23rd.
Yeah, they certainly did. It just goes to show that you cannot let up. In split 2, it really is top split and a half when you think about it, and the entire field over over a 23 lap race was 30 seconds. So again, very, very tight racing and fantastic to see our podium rounding out for the night. I'm going to wrap things up here. Devil Racer, was fantastic doing comms with you here, and thank you for the visuals, Herbs.
Thank you.